I'm right, but here we are in the bottom left. In the red, he is, for Team Exxon, Special.
And his opponent, representing Alpha X, it is Ragnarok.
I like that we, introduced our other teams, the enemy team's players.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, here we go. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really cool match, and I'm really excited to see what Special can bust out on Blackburn. And man, the Chinese production does not switch those names. They really are not fond of that.
Well, to be fair, on a horizontal map, it's kind of hard to tell. I'm never really sure whether the bottom right should be lower or the bottom left should be lower.
I think bottom right should be lower.
Yeah, that's kind of what I tend to do, but it's always like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't know. I'm kind of sad, though. We don't have any fancy webcams for Ragnarok and Special like we've had for the other games. Now, I believe Special is back in Mexico right now. I don't know whether he's made that trip yet or whether he's going to, but... Oh. I love it. We have the OBS virtual cam not turned on. Dang it, Special. Come on!
Oh,
This is just emblematic of what we can expect here from Team Exxon. Second-tier players, second-tier production. Nothing can hold a candle to the might and the power of the Ender of Days here. His name is Ragnarok.
I actually think that look at what we're seeing above it, though. I actually think that might be on the production side, because they're showing, like, you can see just above the actual he definitely needs to turn on his virtual cam. Okay, they decided, that's not a good look for them. They actually needed to turn on something else as well. They were like showing like a full screen thing.
They needed to crop it a little bit more. You could see Ragnarok's face a little bit more on the upper top as well. So you can see double Ragnarok, which I'm never going to complain about seeing double Ragnarok. I mean, the man is gloriously handsome, fantastic Zerg player, and also he ends the world at the end of the days in the final battle. So, what more could you want?
Well, you could want a W here, and we are going to see Special. Not going to be able to pick off any Zerglings right there. If it wasn't for that imbalanced ramp, he would have been able to get a couple of kills, but Ragnarok abusing the map like we're all expecting. That's why he was able to get away with that. Third command center on the way here for Special.
Weren't you just telling me that this map was like broken for Terran, and Zergs, if they have a chance now, they certainly won't have a chance in a month. So how it's broken for the Zerg when it's not your player, or when it's your player that's the Terran, but it's otherwise broken for the Terran if we're just talking about a standard TVC. Is that what's happening here, Steadfast? Are you letting your bias? Are you letting your bias showing up in this broadcast? That's unacceptable.
You get it. You understand now. By the way, in terms of actual builds, this is a pretty big build order advantage for Special. Super fast third command center before the second gas versus an Overlord scout build. That's really good for Special. That's about the perfect opportunity. So really, really nice start for him. In all seriousness, because you gotta cast the video game with all seriousness 100% of the time.
I don't think so. But we talked about this. I'm kind of surprised that we don't see a Roach Warren down here for Ragnarok, as while this is an expansive map, right, and it does get bigger over time, the rest distance natural to natural is not all that terrible, as long as you can avoid the speed zones as you go on through, and that just takes a little bit of micro. And I've seen a lot of players go for some sort of Roach pressure builds on this map. Dark is a particularly significant version of that. And yes, Dark is a Roachy boy. No one can tell me different. But Ragnarok is of that similar paradigm. He loves his roaches. Maybe not as much as Dark, but pretty dang close here. The Hellions will find a couple creep tumors. That's going to be very... Oh, no, they're only going to get one. Because, of course, creep tumors, they get additional health, and you can't one-tap them quite as quickly. Now, Ragnarok, he's going to add double Evo before his lair, so he will be going on into a Lingbane heavily upgraded style, which, I do like, considering the style that we can assume that Special is going to play on this map. This map does lend itself to a good bit of pressure, good bit of aggression, and going that Lingbane style with those upgrades, with those quick upgrades, does allow you to withstand those types of pressure builds maybe a little bit better than a player going for a Spire build, than going for just quick Hydras or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty decent way to play, pretty strong way to play. It is going to be the pretty standard Hellion Liberator. I think Special made a few extra Liberators or Hellions than normal. Nice reposition on that Spore, does keep the Queen alive, so good job right there from Ragnarok. Special, this is a rare scenario in a ZVT where the upgrade timings are pretty similar. So that's a nice win for Ragnarok.
Yeah, again, that's what you would expect here, with it being quick evo and delayed lair, right? That's just kind of the style you go for. So I don't know if it's a rare. It's
not that common for that to be a thing anymore. So that's what I mean. It's for the most part, you usually see the Terran now with faster upgrades in this matchup. It feels like.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. I have started to see this Ling Bane style pop up into popularity, at least the games I've been watching and the games I've been broadcasting as of late. And by the way, you did mention this. Special did go for eight Hellions instead of 6, which honestly, it's kind of surprising to see a Terran go up to 8 Hellions and not look to do something more significantly with them, whether it's Hellbats, something like that. Granted, this is not Blue Flame, and Blue Flame Hellion showed up in the meta for like a week, about a month ago, and then it just stopped because Zerg players got used to it again. But hey, you know what? It was there for a week. But now we do have our lair done. Baneling speed is on the way here. +1 just about done. And look at this. This is going to be a fairly significant Zergling run by here. As, man, you know what? Alpha X Zerglings, they're just better than anything else. But the tank's going to get saved. Nice job there, Special.
Yeah, even if the Zerglings are better for Alpha X, it just doesn't matter when you're built different. And Special going to be able to save that tank like the pro we all know he is. And, oh, look at this. Setting those Hellions up to deny this run by. Now, I don't like that he's on the low ground for that, because it's going to make his reaction time quite a bit slower. Like, you have to be almost instantaneous. Scan will come down. 1-1 is actually going to be finished for Ragnarok for just a couple of seconds earlier. Okay, there we go. Special. Oh, even though he has just a moment to react, still so fast. Just an absolute god of micro.
Ooh, we got to be careful, though. We have a pancake coming on in here. Zerglings from the left and right moving on in. Now, Baneling speed's not done, so that's going to be a little bit of time here. And yeah, actually, Special is going to take a rather superior trade in that idea. And it's also interesting. Ragnarok, he has taken the upper right-hand side base. He's not going to take the gold, which is actually rather surprising for what I've seen of ZVT on this particular map thus far. But anyway, Baneling speed is now done just in time for Ragnarok to really deal with the oncoming pressure. Now, of course, the rocks have not been taken down quite yet, so that is going to be a little bit problematic here for Ragnarok. But notice he is trying at the very least to do a wraparound to try to make something happen. But these Hellions from Special have been really useful over the course of this game.
Yeah, he's done a great job of that. And, well, Special did miss his armory timing by a fair bit. Meanwhile, we actually have a big drop into the main base. And this is kind of one of the things that I've always been worried about on this map. Is you mentioned that kind of 2-base tank push doesn't really exist on this map, but I mean it kind of can when you do stuff like this. Oh, nice job right there taking down that Spore. Meanwhile, double drop coming in at the top side. It's only 8-9 Marines though, so it's not going to be all that much. Oh, Bailey's going to get some pretty decent connections. A nice target fire on the medevac will take that out. So Ragnarok dealing with the multi-prong pretty nicely, and he's up on 80 drones with a hive on the way. Special really needs to find a lot of damage with this.
Yeah, that, and he will have 2-2 far in advance of his Terran opponent. So, well, yes, theoretically, actually, no, not even the hive's going to be on time, and oh, no, the Hellions are finally going to get taken down. There they are. And oh, he's going to get a tank as well here, but now he's going to... Is this a fight you want to take, Ragnarok? I'm not totally sure. As, actually, no, it's looking good. The Banelings are going to come filtering on in as well. The tank's going to go down, and actually, Ragnarok, maybe it's not the best possible trade, but it's not going to be terrible here, as now we do have Special marauding on in once again. How many Banelings do we have for the Alpha X Zerg? Well, it looks like there are enough. Although, man, the tank is starting to fire away at that Baneling nest. That's a bit of a problem, and now we have the issue, of course, with the gold base coming on in here. It is incredibly difficult to deal with, especially if you're going pure Ling Bane, just pure Ling Bane.
Yep. You can just kind of seesaw between those two bases, and we are going to see Special move on forward here. A lot of transfuses coming in on this Baneling nest. Special does still hold a 30 army supply lead, but he is very, very committed to this. I think he's gone up to... he's on 3 factory right now, I think.
Am
I crazy?
Well, I have to take a look. I only see one tank in production right now, but I don't know. He is special. He's friends with TY. TY is a big fan of stuff like that. But okay, now the drop has been cleaned on up, which does mean Ragnarok has license to go spill on in here, knock the tanks down. But remember, Ragnarok's fighting off a creep. Most of the Banelings are getting targeted down. Special with some fantastic splits will be able to beat back Ragnarok. For now, even as Special is on an upgrade disadvantage. Now upgrades are equalizing, so that is going to be a fantastic idea here for Special. As once again, the rocks have not been taken down. Special with his pressure and with how Ragnarok has opted to play, well, that does mean that it's that the rocks are not there, which makes it a little bit more difficult for Ragnarok to really take this fight. And I think the Bailey Nest was killed as well. So now Ragnarok is going to come. Yeah. I don't know whether it was rebuilt is the point there. So we will have the Banelings come running on in, and these are actually going to be some fairly good connections. Tanks are getting targeted down, but the Banelings are now all gone, and I don't think that's going to be enough here. Special looks like he will, in fact, power through in this game, despite how bad it was looking for him. It looked like Ragnarok had everything he was looking for, but Special has played the map to perfection.
Absolutely, he has. He is going to overwhelm here, and GG will get called. I think it definitely is going to go all 6 games, but I do think it will still be in flux by the time Game 6 rolls around. I would be very surprised if one team has won the game, won the series by the time that does roll around. But we're going to be getting into the bottom right, spawning up in the top right. It is Alpha X's Ragnarok. God damn it.
They're so fast. They're so fast. You can't really do too much, unfortunately. Any sort of conversation about how the game is going to go, how the game's been going, what the weather's like outside. That you don't get that. That's not allowed. Not in the way this is going. As we are now on into game number 2. It is Juggernaut. It is, well, it's another big map. Although with the speed zones in the middle, the rush distance is not too terrible. And honestly, I haven't seen a lot of ZVT on this map recently. That being said, I haven't seen a lot of Zerg games recently. In part because, Sushi loves to throw PVTs at me. And that does mean that I get to cast a lot of PVT Steadfast. Maybe not a lot else. But on top of the fact, Zergs have not been quite as successful as of late as they had previously been, right? We just don't see a lot of pro level ZVX. As we're showing off the Douyu symbol because, Chinese broadcast. Thank you. It's unfortunate.
Actually,
sorry,
go on.
No,
I was going to say, oh, well, yeah. I think, I think you actually, particularly on this map pool now, you really don't want to send a Zerg out. Because if you send a Zerg out and you're going up against a Terran player, you're almost guaranteeing, if it's an even matchup between the two, that it will not go better than 1-1. Because the Terran player is going to get to pick Beckett as their second map if they lose game one. If they lose game 1.
Yeah, I got to experience that one with significant. I saw the significant impact. I think I actually linked you the VOD. DRG versus Innovation, which was Kaitsa Gaming versus Team NV last week. Right, we saw that happen. It was a great series. DRG versus Innovation. Game 1 was on Blackburn, by the way, and it was a fantastic game. If anyone hasn't seen that, highly recommend go check out our YouTube channel and go take a look at that. But then Game 2, Innovation says, haha, Beckett, 6-minute victory or 8-minute victory or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, all that work that DRG put in game number 1, his incredible ZVT doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, that's... I didn't think about it in this team league, but Zerg is incredibly nerfed with the format here. Now, there are some maps that are not great for some of the other matchups. So like Blackburn, not the most fantastic for ZVP, but you mentioned that 2-base carrier build. That's probably going to be pretty powerful. By the way, another super fast third command center coming in from Special. Really adopting that Korean ZVT. For a long time, the meme was that the Koreans kind of adopt certain players, but it's been a thing. They adopted Huck in the early days. Wow. They adopted Special since he moved in. Oh, the snipe on the creep tumor. What you come to expect from one of the best players in this matchup?
One of the best players in this matchup. You say the man who didn't even get out of Code A this year. In this season. So, I mean, you say he's the best player in the match. Not sure I buy that
Sorry,
one.
you mean GSL round of 24?
Did he get to round of 24? I thought he didn't get a.
Isn't Code A basically just round of 24?
Oh, not really, because it's a best of 5. You lose, you win, or you go home. And unfortunately, Special did get knocked out in that Code A setup, which is a bit sad. I do like seeing him. It is pretty cool seeing foreigners do well in the GSL. I'm really sad Scarlet had to go home with COVID, actually. I really enjoyed watching her in the GSL, watching her, like 2-0 Rogue to make it so he drops out in the round of 32. That's always a bit fun. But look at this. We're seeing something that I did expect when we looked at these series, or when we looked at this matchup, and I'm very surprised we didn't see in game number 1. We see Roaches on the way, but Special, even before he scouted the Roach Warren, he was going Banshees. So these Roaches, these have to be defensive Roaches. This is not really going to get all that not a lot done, and yeah, Ragnarok, he's showing that. It's like, okay, a couple defensive Roaches. He might try to move out on the map with him, but it is drone behind that layer on the way. There's no way these are going to get a lot of damage.
No. How many Roaches did he build? It's a weird number.
I think it's like 7.
Yeah, it's a really weird number. Now, scan. Oh, look at this. That's a great scan from Special. He's going to see this, and he's going to see the Spore Crawler, and that should let him know that, yeah, my opponent's actually droning right now. I'm good to get aggressive. Actually, more so than seeing the drone count, I think, although the drone count is nice to see. I think it's actually seeing the Spore Crawler that lets him know that, yeah, like I need to be aggressive right now. Or I can be aggressive.
Well, you say that, but honestly, getting a Spore is also or getting static defense can be a hallmarker of an aggressive timing coming on in, right? Zerglings will try to find. Are they gonna? No, they're not. That's a full wall. Anyway, it can be a marker of an attempt to be aggressive as well, right? Like, look, I'm committing everything I have across the map. I want to make sure on the off chance you go put something across the map here that I will be able to not die. So you'll see maybe a Spore per base, or see a cannon go down or something if it's a Protoss player, shield battery. That just allows you to get aggressive. Now, the Zerglings, they will do half damage to this command center, which may be useful later on, as we do have, of course, once again, upgrades timed up 1-1 to 1-1 here, but it is a lot of Roaches. Ragnarok, he's the Roachy boy, and we're going to have to see how useful that will be. Probably going to be a 1-1 Roach timing. But Steadfast, there's a pretty cool build that I've started to see players like Rogue, Rogue Dark, really start to mess around with, where you get 1-1 Roach, and that is what allows you to get on into the mid game, into the late game, but it's a very quick Hydra Den, it's a very quick Hive, and you just get on into Lurkers with a much faster ranged upgrade, which makes them even more powerful.
Yep, the Brazilian Zerg player Eric has adopted that style as well, and he's used it to fantastic effect. Very, very strong way to play. But it looks like we're actually going to see Ragnarok transition potentially into Banelings behind this, into Ling Bane. He is adding on that Baneling nest, and it's not a huge commitment. It's a very small one, in fact, but that is an indicator that you're probably going to want to get something. You're probably going to want to do that transition. But as I say that, he starts up an infestation pit. I'm very confused. Ragnarok, kind of bumbling around here, not really knowing what he's doing. He looks confused.
No, Steadfast, this is looking more like the slightly older style, but certainly still powerful one, where you go to Roach Ravager, Ling Bane to keep yourself safe. As you get on into a really quick Hive, you get on in Ultras, and it's that Roach Ravager, Ling Bane into Ultra style that was oh so popular back at the start of Legacy of the Void, and is still somewhat popular now. I mean, we see it probably 1 out of every 10 to 15 games. But Special for his part, he's going for an 8-Rax because, he is too afraid of Ragnarok in the late game. He says, look, I want to end this now. Alpha X Zergs, they are just too terrifying once the game goes past 10 minutes, so I just want to make sure that doesn't happen. He's quaking in his boots here, hoping against hope that maybe he's going to be able to get what he needs done.
I was going to make a comment and be like, well, he's coming in, but no, the drop gets cleaned up and he gets back into the medevacs. I will say, I think that style is very outdated. But against this 8-Rax, it's going to be really, really strong. Unless, however, Special maxes out. Oh, look at that. Oh, man, the Hellions end up getting broken down anyways. Drop will get dealt with here. A little bit of a sloppy drone pull right there from Ragnarok. Not really necessary, losing just a little bit of mining time that he doesn't need to. But in all seriousness,
okay, now you're reaching Steadfast.
Yeah, right, really reaching on that. In all seriousness, Ragnarok has been dealing with this aggression very, very nicely. Banshee will do a good job of blunting this creep spread, but it's already nearly 40% of the map is covered. This is solid.
Yeah, honestly, Ragnarok, he's done a really good job. And part of their special has not been putting on a ton of pressure. Oh, Banshee's going to go down. Oh, now it's going to be Queen. Pathing, please. Blizzard, small indie company. But anyway, Special has not been all that aggressive on the map just yet. He's playing this 8-rack style where, again, you kind of sit there. You don't do a whole lot. You sit, you quick and hide at home until the point where you max out, and then you're like, oh yeah, maybe my opponent's going to do something, but these Bailey connections are going to be somewhat decent, and the Biles will not kill any of the tanks, unfortunately, but now we have the Roaches, we have the Zerglings, they're going to come on into this third base, they're going to look to force Special to go home, but Special says, I don't want to go home here, I have no home to go to, and he's going to run on into some Bailings in some speed zones. That is never a good deal. And look how much damage Ragnarok is getting with this. He is rapidly turning Special all in a style that he was already all in on. So Ragnarok showing his class, his incredible skill, and it looks like he's just going to sweep Special from the map right here right now, as there are blinding clouds on top of all of the tanks. What you gonna do, Special? Looks like the answer is nothing whatsoever. Only one tank does remain, and yeah, their Roaches are falling down just a little bit, but 19 SCVs have died. The army of Special is going down. GG, Ragnarok, the most handsome man, is going to take game number 2.